There's one mistake that PrizePicks bettors are making that quietly ruin every single slip. And if you're doing it, your entries are already done before the game's even started. The crazy part, most people have zero idea that they're actually falling into this trap. And I get it, because honestly, it's not their fault. This is information that PrizePicks is never going to share with anyone. Payouts look clean, they're gonna hype you up every single time your entries cash, and then really what that leads to is you firing more slips that are mathematically doomed. So this one mistake single-handedly affects your ROI, your variance, your bankroll, and how lucky you think you really are. It's the reason that you hit a couple big slips, but for some reason your bankroll keeps sinking. It's also the reason that every single cold streak feels like it lasts forever. And lastly, it's the main reason that bettors are swearing that they're profitable until they go check their deposits. So what is it? Well, you're unfortunately going to have to wait right there, because first, in order to understand the mistake, you have to understand exactly what it takes to build the perfect slip on PrizePicks. Because the perfect entry isn't the one with the biggest multiplier, the one with the most props, or the players that everyone is taking on X or even PrizePicks popular feed. And today, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to accomplish this using ROI, variance, and bankroll management strategies. Because it's time that you stop donating and actually start taking and stacking these real edges. And by the time we get to the end of this video, you'll know exactly the mistake that everyone else is making and why fixing this is going to change everything for you. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So once you get to Outlier, what you need to do in order to see these plays are go to the left-hand sidebar, click on the tab that says positive EV betting, click on that, and then you'll need to set up a couple of filters. But what you'll see, really, once you essentially set up all of this to show PrizePicks, you'll see a plethora of bets. Now, what I also have is I'm curious about all of these different main market leagues. So NHL, college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA. Now, what I'm looking for is in the next 24 hours. And that's mainly because the closer you are to the game, the more confident that these books fill. I'm looking for player props. You could really leave this unselected because the only thing that PrizePicks is going to show you at this moment is player props. Now, max width, that is essentially the lower the width, the more confident these books are going to fill. So I lowered that to at least 100 player props. Really, if you can get that closer to 30, you're looking really good, meaning that they feel very confident. But I've bumped that up to 100. The no vig odds, really what we're looking for is anywhere from minus 300 to plus 200. That's going to give us the majority of our bets without looking at really too many outlier situations. From there, what I've also done is a minimum EV percentage, having at least a 0.24. I kind of want to knock the stuff out that's really below that. Kelly multiplier is just a half. That's kind of what I use, is anywhere from a quarter to a half. That is really just your bankroll management strategies that we'll be going over later. Variation, we've bumped that up to 10%. DVIG method, I sometimes bounce around between the average and the multiplicative. Multiplicative is the most conservative method, which is what most people use, but I also like looking at the average because that's going to show you a little bit more options. So I leave that, I kind of bounce in between the two of those. And then lastly, what I look at are just these 6 books. Pinnacle, Circa, and Bookmaker are considered the sharpest books in all of the market, but when you're specifically looking at player props, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Caesars are right there with these other sharp books. So I look at all of those, I list them as optional and not required, because then the second you mark them as required, you are already limiting the plays that you can look at. Now, for our custom weight, what I really value is FanDuel's opinion. So I set FanDuel at 100, all these other ones at 25. The more data points, the better, but it's also the quality of the data point that we're looking at, which is why FanDuel is listed higher than anything else. Now, once I have that, what again I have are these 3 results that do pop up. Now, obviously, with these 3 results, we can't start building out 4, 5, 6 leg slips. It's either 1, 2, or 3. Now, in the previous video, I did discuss the importance of not just throwing these top 2 plays in to a single slip. Now, why is that? Just a brief overview. I highly recommend going and watching that video before this one. So what we're looking for is an average minimum of minus 137. If we have an average minimum of minus 137, that is our break-even point. And again, if we were to go below that, then we'll see that our return on investment is actually negative. So we need to make sure that these are at least minus 137 in order to be profitable sports bettors. So the fact that we look here and what we're looking at is that fair value odds. This one's at minus 133. This one's at minus 129. So yes, we are getting some sort of expected value when we look at that compared at minus 119. But we're not comparing this at minus 119. We're comparing this at minus 137, meaning that these plays actually aren't EV. However, if we look at a 3-pick power, all we're looking for is minus 122. So the fact that we compare all three of these, obviously they're all above minus 122, meaning that we compare all of these for a very, very good parlay. That's all that you really need to know whenever you're creating this, right? So what I have here is a calculator, and what I'm curious about is if I plug in these three plays, it's going to actually tell me how much I should be betting, right? So what I have is minus 133. So we have minus 133. It was minus 129, and I believe minus 123. Now, what this shows you is what was your return on investment. Now, in the previous screen, what it showed us is that, again, what we had was a 6.45% return on investment. Now, what some people like to do is maybe be a little bit more conservative. Instead of playing a 3-pick power, they're like, hey, I just like to play a 3-pick flex. Well, that's actually, in this situation, maybe one of the worst things that you can do, because now what you're looking at is a 6.45% return on investment, meaning that for every $100 that you bet, what you're expected to get back is actually $6.45. However, if you chose to be a little bit more conservative and do a 3-pick flex, you're expected to actually lose $5.28 for every bet that you place. Now, here is actually your recommended bet size. This is only $8. So for some people who have $250 in their bankroll, they might say, hey, I'm a $10 sports bettor. I can get 25 bets off at $10. Well, if you actually take a $10 sports bet on this 3-pick power, although it's an EV, it could hurt you in the long term for sure, because you're not using the correct Kelly criterion. And that's exactly what this number is here, which is why I set this to a half. Now, what I do recommend is, especially if you are brand new to positive EV betting, start at a quarter. And maybe if you were really cautious on positive EV betting, drop down to an eighth. But what I recommend, start off at a quarter. Once you feel more confident, go up to a half. So what this quarter shows you, again, is the percent of your bankroll that you should be betting. So kind of average these up, and what you'll see is that what you're kind of getting is a 1%, right? But if we bump this up to a half, we'll obviously see double of that. So we'll see roughly a 2% is what we should be betting on this play. And again, that's roughly that number. So again, if we go to our calculator, let's do 250, which is our bankroll, times our 2%. Oh, one too many zeros. Let's clear that. 2%. And that's going to give us $5. So again, that recommendation is $5. This one is $8. But again, that's because this is compared to a minus 119. But regardless, as long as you're sticking to these percentages, it is going to give or take you very close to that number that you should be looking for. So once you have this, kind of also average up that Kelly and then kind of have a rough idea. Now, if you just wanted to stick to kind of the flat betting method, you absolutely could, but just know that you will see bigger swings of variances. Because again, what we're looking at is, even when we look at this slip at minus 128, which is, let's say that was the average of this, which is kind of give or take, probably pretty close, minus 128 for this 3-pick power, even when we look at that, there's 4 different outcomes that can actually happen for this current slip type, right? We can go 0 out of 3, which is going to happen roughly 8% of the time. 1 out of 3 is 32% of the time. 2 out of 3 is 41.5% of the time. What we're expected, 3 out of 3, to actually profit on the slip, to actually win this slip, is 17.7% of the time. So if you think about that, if you place 100 bets, let's round that up to 18. If you place 100 bets, you are only expected to win 18% of the time, meaning that you are going to lose 82 other bets. Now, that's the idea of variance. Is what you're going to see with variance is really streaks of winning streaks, losing streaks, winning streaks, losing streaks. So it's going to go up and down. You might get 10 losing slips in a row, followed by 2 winning slips in a row, right? So that's the idea with variance, and that's why this bankroll management and also Kelly criterion is very, very important. So if you don't have good bankroll management, again, that's why I recommend going there to the quarter, and then once you start to get more and more and more comfortable with it, then bump up to the half. Now, a lot of times, especially once we start to incorporate more and more slips. So let's just say that again, let's just kind of continue to go down our minus 128. 4-pick power, right? 4-pick power, what we're looking at is minus 128, right? As our minimum percent odds to hit. People love powers, people dog on flexes. But in this situation, 4-pick flex is actually the way to go. That's because what we're getting is an average of minus 128. I understand that what we need is an average of minus 128, but it kind of is decimal, right? So it's roughly minus 128.4. So this is going to essentially kind of break us even is how you could look at that. But if you have 4 plays that are really this good, it recommends you actually throwing that into a 4-pick flex. Now, if we continue to go down, this is maybe the main question that I get whenever we're looking at these different slip types, because really the most optimal slip type that you can be making on PrizePicks is actually a 5-pick flex and a 6-pick flex, because both of these are at minus 119. Now, those are at minus 119 on these flexes because you get paid out for going 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and 5 out of 5. Now, your 3 out of 5, you are still going to lose money, but what you get is a 0.4x payout. So you'll just lose the $60 if you are a $100 sports bettor, meaning that you'll again get the $40 back, but overall you still lose. Meaning that what you're looking for is that minus 119, and that's exactly what Outlier is devigging to. We are trying to set you up with the lowest possible odds at minus 119. So that's where I have that question always come up is, should I be taking a 5-pick power or a 5-pick flex? Well, again, if you look here, it's totally up to you, because in a situation where we're looking for on a 5-pick power is minus 122, but a 5-pick flex is minus 119, our return on investment for this slip type, which again is very, very good for us, average odds of minus 128. This is 11.83% ROI as opposed to a 13.16% ROI. So roughly a 1% difference. It is completely up to you. It does not matter what you take. Both of these are profitable slips. So if you really want the excitement of chasing a power, do it. But if you have the mindset of I really want to just kind of grow this slowly, do the flex. Either way, these are profitable slip types. As long as you are hitting that criteria, you are more than okay. So again, what's really cool, and an app that I really feel like is slept on compared to PrizePicks rather, is actually Underdog. So if we do the same thing, and let's say we had the exact same slip. So let's just go copy this. And what you'll see is our return on investment is 11.83 and 13.16. But if we go over here and copy those, you can actually see that these are going to be roughly the same. But what's really cool is if we take this down from a 5-leg slip to a 4-leg slip, the 4-leg flexes are maybe the most underrated slip in all of DFS, right? And I broke that down in the previous video, but I would be remiss if I also did not show it on this one. Now, for a 4-pick flex, why this is so elite is because you get a profit on going 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 4, right? 3 out of 4, what you get is a 1.8x payout, which again is just 0.8 profit. But on a 4 out of 4, what you get is a 7.2x payout, which is a 6.2 profit, right? So what we're looking for is actually minus 108. The fact that we can grab lines at minus 115 and have an ROI of 10% is absolutely crazy. So when I look at the calculator and I'm comparing 19.52% compared to a 27.65%, I'm honestly taking the 4-pick flex. I'm not sweating out the 12x payout that I get on PrizePicks, and that's or on Underdog, and that's another thing as well. 4-pick powers is a 12x payout as opposed to a 10x payout on PrizePicks. Insane difference. 2x makes all of the difference in the world. So anyways, though, roughly a 30% ROI on this slip is absolutely crazy. And all that you need to do is whenever you go here, go down to your books and simply turn on Underdog. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, we'll give this a refresh. I'm not sure if we're going to have some bets pop up. I hope that they do, so that way you can kind of see a real live action of what we would actually get on one of these different slips. So as you can see here, as soon as I refresh this, we are loaded with plays. But what I want to look is, since we were talking about Underdog, and funny enough, what we have are 2 plays that are really good for us. Now, what I don't want to look at, this one here, you can see that it's at -164. That play is actually a multiplier play, so it's actually been reduced, but we're still getting really good odds on it. What I care about is this -120. These are our regular line plays, so I guess what we'll be looking at is just 3 plays, which is -140, -127, and -124. So we'll go back, delete that. So we had -140, -127, and -124. When I look there, it's already telling me exactly what I should place. We look at the ROI compared to a 3-pick power as opposed to a 3-pick flex. Now, again, you can choose to do the more conservative approach. Neither one is wrong, but I think there's one that obviously makes a little bit more sense. Now, let's say that we found a play that was at the bare minimum that we would show up as, which is the -120. Again, what you're getting is a 26.75. So if we were to delete that, you jump up from a 3-pick power at 17.52. And if you were to find another play, it would immediately jump up to a 26.75. Underdog is completely slept on. But again, PrizePicks, the beauty of this all is that there is actually math that you can use to dominate these DFS sites. But the thing is that you need to do it with fidelity. Well, what fidelity am I using? Well, it starts with understanding what your return on investment is for these plays. Because if you're not doing that correctly, so again, if this play was whatever, I'm going to throw in something crazy so that way, you know, we can look at it. We're getting some negative ROI, then obviously that doesn't make any sense for me to be taking. But unfortunately, what happens is we do that a ton. And now this is just an example of a play that you can actively take on PrizePicks, is the over 17.5 points for Devin Vassell. But when we actually look at the numbers and what we're getting from these different sports books, you can see FanDuel has this priced at -115, Pinnacle at -114, and then DraftKings at -106. But we would take that at -119 on PrizePicks when these books are trending closer and closer to plus value odds. People are placing these bets every single day in every single slip, and it doesn't make sense. And again, they wonder why their bankrolls continue to sink. So understanding your return on investment is one of the biggest things. Now, another thing is that Kelly criterion. You need to have proper bankroll management. You can't just be a $10 sports bettor, see a play like this, although your 5-pick flex has good return on investment, making a $10, $20 bet just doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable. You're going to have to start redepositing money long term. So understand what your bankroll is and be okay with that. Now, the last part of this is understanding the variance, and that is really how many times are you actually expected to win? Well, even on a 5-pick flex where we're hitting -125 with an ROI of 8.81, the chances we actually go 5 out of 5 is 5.3%. So again, 95% of the time, we're not going to go 100%, and you need to understand that as a sports bettor as well. Now, positive EV betting isn't the only way to be a profitable sports bettor when you're betting on DFS sites like PrizePicks and Underdog. So in the next video, what I will be doing is doing a deeper dive into other features that Outlier offers. So I expect to see you there if you are serious about upping your game and dominating these sports books. Best of luck. Let me know if y'all had any questions down in the comments below, and I will be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. See you on the next one. Best of luck sports betting today and in the future.